More than 150 Russian diplomats have been expelled from 28 countries in Europe and beyond in a move of unprecedented solidarity. Last night many revealed that they had been persuaded to act by Theresa May's powerful argument, their own intelligence of Russian activity in Russian form, such as the annexation of Crimea and the downing of Malaysia Airlines flight MH17. While Britain made it known that it possessed evidence, backing by many countries had already been offered more than a week before the full intelligence picture was revealed at a heads of state meeting in the European Council on March 23. Speaking last night, Polish Deputy Minister Bartosz Sieciocki told how he was briefed by British officials in Warsaw in the days following the March 4 assassination attempt. We were presented with evidence about the case and asked whether we'd be ready to participate in a demonstration of solidarity. The international backing for Britain against Russia remains firm. We knew this was about the security of citizens in Europe. We have all been targeted in some way. We responded very quickly. In our case, the depth of the UK's information wasn't critical because we had been observing patterns of Russian behaviour, and what happened in Salisbury fitted into that precisely. We did not request that the UK presented everything at that early stage. It was obvious Britain had submitted the case to the Organisation for the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons in The Hague, so we knew there would be an international investigation. It wasn't necessary to prolong political decisions for the months it will probably take for OPCW experts to investigate. He added, "We understood this was not just a bilateral issue between Russia and Britain but rather about the security of citizens in Europe. It's important to note that every country which reacted in support had been targeted, in this way or another, by Russia in the past. The overwhelming feeling was enough." Salisbury was a catalyst. On Tuesday, Gary Aikenhead, chief executive of the government's Defence Science and Technology Laboratory at Fort Tondown, revealed they were not yet able to prove that the military-grade Novichok nerve agent came specifically from Russia. That fact was seized upon by the Kremlin. But Deputy Minister Sieciocki said, Russia's response has been typical of its behavior. It denies, it sends troops in uniform without insignia, it uses hackers and internet trolls. We gave Russia enough time to demonstrate goodwill and transparency and it failed to do this. There is always a way for it to deny everything, but allowing us to be fooled by this would risk the lives of our citizens. The time comes to be less bureaucratic and to take action, once we know who is responsible. In this case, we have no doubt that Russia was responsible. He said that the mass expulsion of diplomats was significant. We expelled 4, but the expulsion of 150 by so many countries is unprecedented. We have already seen Russia try to drive a wedge against this unity, so we need to constantly work on it. The views were echoed by the Czech Republic, which expelled 3 Russians, and Estonia, which expelled 1 high-level operative. Jakub Dauer, the Czech Republic's deputy foreign minister for European issues, said he trusted the materials and evidence from the UK. We also have particle data and intelligence, but when it comes to the UK position, we completely trust our British partner. You don't doubt your friend, especially when the argument is supported by a phrase like highly likely, which, in diplomatic terms, says much. For us, the deciding moment came about in the EU leaders' debate. On that day, our Prime Minister also met with NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg. NATO's view on this was also important because what is true for NATO is true for the Czech Republic. A threat like this to a strategic partner doesn't do anything to make us change the threat that we already consider is posed by Russia. Paul Tizalu, Estonia's Undersecretary for Political Affairs, said, "We expelled a Russian diplomat, who was a high-level operative connected to Russian intelligence, as part of a common effort across Europe, but we really didn't need long to decide to support Britain. The key to diplomacy lies in Moscow. There are rules that nations must adhere to, and Russia must play according to those rules.